nation where the rule of law is being abided with, and where the rule of law is being respected. I would have I had expected that by now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would have been released, based on that judgment. And if there are further cases to be, to be pulled, to be worked on, then he can come for this. But at least, first of all, obey the rule of law. And when it is coming from the highest, you said the guy jumped bail. He jumped bail. If a citizen does that, and then the people who are supposed to uphold the law, are now doing similar things, then we seem to just be producing our own kind, as it were. Now, interestingly, we saw earlier on today, the court declines FG's request for adjournment in stay of execution and hearing, just to keep the guy. What are you keeping him for? What are you keeping him for? Even at the expense of, the troubles that would just, be going on in those parts of the country where those guys could just start ravaging the whole place. It is the citizens, the average Nigerians, that suffer it. It's the average Nigerians. That's what makes it a very, very, very sad scenario. Well, the Court of Appeal on Monday refused to grant the request of the federal government to adjourn the application seeking to stay the execution of the judgment that struck out the terrorism charges against the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Rather, the court gave the federal government till 12 noon today to move its application. At the day's proceeding, counsel for the federal government, David Kwasi, complained that he was served with counter affidavit by Kanu's lawyer, Mike Oze-Homer, last week, Wednesday. Kwasi claimed that a list of one additional authority was served on him this morning, and that he needed time to react to the authority. And then counsel for Kanu, however, objected to the request on the ground that only one additional authority was served, and the federal government should have no excuse to seek adjournment because of that authority alone. Azekume, claimed that the government is here to obey the court order of October 13th that ordered Kanu's release. We are not obeying the law. How do we expect to have people? That's why we have to force people to do things. That's why we have to force people to do things all the time, because we ourselves don't even lead by examples. I expected that he would have been released and probably put under watch. They would have been watching. He can't travel out of the country without people, without knowing. As in, do you understand? Where authorities are in place, if he's under check, he can't get out. He will be put under watch. Wherever he's seen to be going beyond limit, they'll hold him. And you can't go beyond this place. We still have to watch. And just because of what had happened before. But keeping him now is only making matters, worrisome, as it were. If since October 13th and today is October 24th, and yet the guy has still not been released, it's alarming. It's alarming the way we deal with the law in Nigeria, the way the rule of law is being, handled in Nigeria. I hope, one of my dreams is that someday very soon we would have a nation. We have a Nigeria where the rule of is being obeyed strictly, regardless of who is involved, Well, Ozokome told that, he further urged the court to reject the request for any adjournment. What if anything goes wrong? What if anything happens to this guy? Are we going to be able to curtail the excesses, the damages, especially to lives and properties? We have issues to deal with. Look at the flood. Flood is not taking anybody to court. I hope you know. You are the one that will find solution. Flood is not taking anybody to court. You can't even take flood to court. Look at how many people that have lost their lives in Kogi State alone. About 600 people died in Kogi State alone. And of course, look at other parts of more than 800 people have died since. That is huge. What could be more of a terror than that? Killing such a number of persons within such a short time. That's also flood. The flood has become a terrorist. Now we cannot arrest it. As is well, we've just got to do the needful to curtail it. It can only be curtailed. It cannot be arrested. It can only be curtailed. And what have we done since all these menace have taken over? What have we done? Rather, we still have leadership traveling out of the country, going for meetings when we have critical issues. That is claiming lives and properties, put people's lives in jeopardy. I have a dream also that soon we'll have a leadership that has the kind of heart, a heart for the people is leading. That there will be no discrimination between a leader and his followers. There will be no discrimination. If there will be at all, the followers will be at the top. That's my dream. That's my dream. Well, the presiding judge, Justice Aruna Sanami, subsequently gave the federal government till 12 noon today to move its application for the stay of execution of the judgment and to respond to the fresh one authority cited by Kanu's legal team. And so we will bring you updates as to what happens. Because we'll know what happened afterwards. But then I just told you what my dreams are. That someday, very, very soon, we'll have a nation where the rule of law is being obeyed and strictly adhered to by everybody. Well, thank you very much for watching. This is Serious Matters on NFTV. My name is Olugun.